As Steve and Lisa sat down at the table, getting ready to eat, I walked over to Renee, who was giving me a very concerned expression. Hey Renee, can you come talk to me for a second in private? I need to talk about something with you. Oh, no fair, man. Come on, give us the scoop. What are you two talking about? Steve said, with a big cheesy grin on his face. I'm with Steve. Give us the dish, Leisha said, leaning in over her tray, loving a good scoop. Sorry, guys. No public ears for this one. It's a private thing. Boyfriend-girlfriend stuff, you know, I said as I offered my hand down to Renee, who happily took it. And with that, I escorted her outside of the restaurant, heading for her car and getting inside. Victor, what was that? Renee shouted as we finished getting inside of the car and closing the doors behind us. I thought maybe you'd take this a little bit more cautiously. What was that? It was death, Renee, I replied, still pretty stunned by the experience. What? Renee replied, shocked. That's what the gray filter over people means. It means that they're about to die. There, in the restaurant, I saw the hand of death, of a reaper, reach out of nowhere and attempt to smother out her life like it was a candle. Just snuff it. Are you serious, Victor? You actually saw one? A reaper? No, not the whole thing, I replied. I only saw the hand. It reached out from seemingly nowhere, like there was some sort of invisible wall, and its hand just reached out from it. But not only was I able to see it, I was able to touch it. I grabbed the hand as it was trying to snuff out her life, and I stopped it. After that, the old lady came back. Her candle, it relit itself and got brighter. Before, I could see a candle inside of her, but it was on its last legs, starting to putter out, and the Reaper's hand, it reached for it, starting to snuff it. But when I stopped it, the flame relit. It was brighter. It wasn't sputtering anymore. I literally think I just stopped death. For a moment, Renee sat in silence, just staring at me. Until, no freaking way. My husband has power over death. That is so cool! Come on, Renee, I replied frustratedly. This is serious. This is actually very scary, Renee. I don't know why, but I'm getting the feeling that death doesn't like being interrupted in the process of their job. What if that Reaper comes after me? Am I going to start seeing this all the time? Or maybe I have been seeing it all the time. I don't know. Is it just active at certain points of the day? Or maybe today was just a fluke, and I have to learn how to control it. If that's the case, I basically am a sitting duck. If I actually have to learn to see death, then death can still sneak up on me, which is definitely not good. Well, I could see how you'd be worried about that, Renee said. I've been doing some research into Salvera Reaper on my own time, whilst trying to teach you the basics of our world. From what I was able to gather, it said that Salvera Reaper possessed power over death, unlike anything that anyone had ever seen. Everyone attested it to him defeating the Lord of Death and devouring him. At least that's how it goes in the legend. It appears as though those powers have transferred down through his bloodline. So now you, like Salvera Reaper himself, have some measure of power or control over death. Apparently, you're able to stop it. The only question is to what extent. Are there specific circumstances? Or can you just do it whenever you want? And the most important question is there a price? Or does intervening with death have any sort of negative consequence on you? According to the legends that I was able to find and look up, Salvera Reaper was able to perceive Reapers, which is normally impossible. Very few entities are actually able to see emissaries of death. They lie in a realm outside of regular realms. Even the realm of ghosts and spirits is separate from the realm of death, in which the Reapers exist. It's sort of an extra layer to reality, one that Salvera Reaper could see, and so he could actually kill emissaries of death, should he see them here in this world. According to the stories, he could slay them if he chose to. So, the same should hold true for you. If you see an emissary of death, it is possible for you to kill them. That doesn't make any sense, Renee. What would be the point in killing a Reaper? Well, think about it. Every person has their own individual Reaper. A person that's responsible for their death. That is tasked with being there the moment you pass from this world. So, it stands to reason that if you kill the Reaper that's destined to take someone's life, that person's life is extended. What? I replied. I mean, think about it. It makes sense, at least somewhat. I don't know how much their life would be extended, but logically it makes some sort of sense. If the Reaper that's supposed to kill you dies, then it only stands to reason that eventually they have to find a different Reaper to take up the task. The moment of someone's death is woven into the fabric of destiny. It's part of an intricate machine that affects everything in a butterfly effect. So, if you stop the moment of someone's death, then it stands to reason that destiny has to find another time or point to do away with them. They have to create a new thread, a new point in time in which that person's life will cease, which buys that person more time, while destiny figures its shit out. And remember, people are tasked with a Reaper from the moment they're born. If you kill the Reaper meant to control someone's death, then it's highly possible that it could greatly extend the lives of everyone that Reaper was tasked with doing away with. At least until such time as a new Reaper is chosen to take over their death. There are multiple. The only question is how much time that would buy someone. I think you're getting a little ahead of yourself, Renee, I replied. Don't you think this is a bit skeptical? Maybe we should do a little bit more understanding. We don't know if for certain it works that way. Well, of course we do, Renee replied, looking over to me. You said it yourself. You grabbed Death's hand, stopped it from snuffing that old woman's life. And when you did, her candle roared back to life. Her life force rejuvenated. That's all the proof that you need that waylaying death in any form, at minimum, buys the person more time. It might not stop them from dying altogether, but it at minimum extends the timeline. This is powerful, Victor. You have no idea how powerful. Do you have any idea how many people there are who would give basically anything to be able to see death coming? It's an advantage, one like no one else possesses. Most other people just have to deal with the fact that death is a thing in their life. But you can actually fight it, Victor. You can battle death back. It's an ability that could prove, useful beyond words. and give you power over others you couldn't possibly imagine. Imagine what kind of favors you could get from other werewolves, or basically anyone. You, unlike anyone else in the entire world, could literally promise to protect someone from death. Do you have any idea what something like that is worth? What people would be willing to pay if they knew that there was someone who could actually stop them from dying? The power is unbelievable, Victor. I know that it's very possible that there's dangers involved in this, that you could gain the ire of Reapers. That is a cost that we quite possibly have to start looking into heavily from this point forward. Okay, Victor, I know this might seem like a task for you, especially considered your kind-hearted nature. You don't want people to die, but I'm going to ask you to do something for me. If you see anyone else with that film, unless there's someone exceptionally important to you, your mom or dad or me, or maybe Lisa or Steve or something like that, you do nothing. We don't know what the limitations to this ability are, the costs, whether or not the Reapers will be upset about it, or whether there's a certain amount of acceptable intervention. All of it's up to question, and it's extremely dangerous to use without knowledge. So, at least for the time being, if you see anyone else with that gray film that you know is going to die soon, don't intervene. Not until we understand how this power works. We need to first and foremost guarantee your safety, Victor. And after guaranteeing your safety, find a way that we can work this to your advantage, Renee said, clasping her chin, focusing her eyes dead ahead as she tried to think it all over.